closer. There's an image atop the lights. The photo is now a worldwide sensation. Is this a trick of the light? Jesus? An angel? A cross? Beautiful. Amazing.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
I know this isn't real.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
An RF frequency plant chip to track anybody. They're not coming from outer space. They don't need that. If you're interstellar, you're transdimensional, because their technologies are way beyond that. I said, this is human.
Project Bluebeam at one time or another. Now, for those of you that don't know what Project Bluebeam is, it is a military project working with the hidden hand, the dark government, the deep state, the elites, whatever you want to call them, where they will use holographic projectors along with voice-to-skull technology.
When you're so tied into these technologies, you're not really seeing what's going on in the real world. All the things that are going on today, like surveillance, hacking of phones.
The intelligence community, what I discovered was amazing. There has been a plan in existence since about 1917 to create an artificial extraterrestrial threat to this Earth in order to create a one-world totalitarian socialist government.
Of Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam is a top-secret operation of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA for short, of the United States of America. Project Bluebeam is divided into 4 steps.
A man that I worked with before his death had developed an electronic system in 1956 that would enable someone electronically to remote view anywhere.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chamber, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the
Step 1. The first step in the NASA Bluebeam project concerns the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. We will see more and more hoax discoveries, where these new discoveries will finally explain to all people the error of all fundamental religious doctrines. The falsification of this information will be used to make all nations believe that the religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries.
They wanted to see how the people will react if the people really thought that there was an alien invasion from another world. It was called War of the World.
Step 4. Electronic universal supernatural manifestation designed to deceive will create the following illusion. Make mankind believe an alien invasion is imminent. How are they going to project the images on the sky? Well, if this is your question, then you have to get back to Step 2, and research on 3D holograms.
Rest at ease, the good die young, the legends die young, can't die, I'm too young. They wanna save my soul, snakes in the grass, I know. Yeah, lights coming from the red moon, stand on the top of it all. Yeah.
What if I told you that nothing in life is a coincidence? That the word coincidence doesn't even exist in the Hebrew language, nor shall it apply in the life of a believer. All these signs and warnings we are currently experiencing are to get us prepared for what we're about to face. Brothers and sisters, the storm has arrived, a paradigm shift like never before, that even has some of the atheists and conspiracy theorists saying this is all biblical. But let's take a minute to connect the dots.
This is the main hospital in Bergamo in Lombardy province. It's one of the most advanced hospitals in Europe. But it's the most hard hit of all the hospitals in.
You see, as the mainstream media is feeding the public a false narrative designed to instill fear and mass deception, at the same time, there are countless people, soldiers, who are doing everything in their power to awaken the masses.
Transnational criminal organizations continue to threaten our security by smuggling cocaine, fentanyl, methamphetamines, and other narcotics across our borders. These drug traffickers put our communities at risk and destroy lives. Every year, tens of thousands of Americans die from drug overdose, and thousands more suffer the harmful effects of addiction.
We are in an unprecedented time in history, never seen before. As drug trafficking and overdoses are at an all-time high in the U.S., our nation is also the largest importers and exporters of human trafficking in the world. In 2018, the Army spent $500 million to train soldiers to fight underground. Did they know something that they did not want the public to know? Then why is April so important? Is it a coincidence that proclamations for child abuse prevention, sexual assault awareness, and a proclamation for second chance were all declared for the month of April, the same month that the whole world is completely shut down, on standby, and is turning to God to get his attention? Signs are happening everywhere. The word tells us in these days we will see signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. a supermoon is to appear this coming Passover, April 7th and 8th. Is he trying to tell us something? The word trumpet is used 64 times in the King James Bible. The only 2 times the word trump is mentioned refers to the end times. Is this all a coincidence? He told us what to look for, and his word tells us where the signs are. It's almost like his fingerprint are on the appointed days. You see, God does nothing without first revealing it to his people. And he's taking up the 144,000. His redemption plan is being played out right before your eyes. Is it a coincidence that we are in the year 2020, where the masses will begin to see through all the corruption, where the scales will be lifted from their eyes? There is a one world agenda, as the Bible speaks of, being played out right now. The trumpets have been sounding. It's time to be prepared, brothers and sisters. In the book of Colossians, it says that the feasts such as Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits, which most of the U.S. calls Easter, are a shadow of things to come. Now, a person's shadow always goes with them. Sometimes it follows you, sometimes it precedes you, but it's always right there with you. The Apostle Paul is telling us that these shadows precede the Messiah. They are prophetic shadows that help to reveal the plans of Yahuwah. If we want to know what he's going to do next, we must keep our eyes on the shadow, the feasts, the new moons, and the Sabbaths. If you are not familiar with this concept, please consider the following. The Messiah died as the Passover lamb on Passover. He was buried sinless without yeast, which is the beginning of unleavened bread. He was resurrected on the first fruits as the first fruit of the resurrection. And 50 days later, he poured out his Spirit on Pentecost to write the law in our hearts. And remember, there is no coincidence this is all happening right now.
1998. Say this shit on my grave. No, I cannot. Yeah, no, I cannot wait. Say this shit on my. Say this shit on my grave. Yeah. No leader gon' hate. 200 gas, no break. No, I cannot.